morning children. So today we will continue the rest chapters of matter. So yesterday we studied that boiling point, melting point, vaporization, like different processes we studied. Now we will study about the solids, how they change in other form. Okay. So there is a process called sublimation. Okay. So the process of conversion of solid into gaseous state or vapor state without going through the liquid state is called sublimation. Process of converting solid directly solid state directly converting to what? Gaseous state or vapor state, to vapor state without going through liquids, without going through liquid state. Okay. So this is a process where the what they do, they directly convert from a solid state to vapor state without undergoing or without going through the liquid state. And there are some examples like sublime. They are called sublime solids. Sublime solids means they are also what? Undergo sublimation. Like camphor is there. Camphor, okay, and iodine crystals, ammonium chloride, one more is solid carbon dioxide. Solid carbon dioxide, we call this as dry ice. But how it happens? See, these sublime solids are so strong that they absorb heat energy from the environment, and they directly convert, and without melting directly they convert into vapor state. So this is about sublimation. Okay, then just we'll go for one recap, then we'll go back. Okay. So you studied that solids convert into liquids. Okay, liquids convert into gas or vapor. Again they are interconverted. Okay, so conversion of solid to liquid is called melting. This is one way. Solid to liquid is called melting, or you can call fusion. Okay, then liquids to vapor is called vaporization. Then gaseous to solid is called condensation. Sorry, it is freezing. Okay, gas particles converting into solid is called freezing. Okay, this is one way. Again there is one more what? In a reverse process. What? Liquids converting into solids. Liquids converting to solids. You take water as a liquid. That you want to convert into what? Solid. Ice. So what you should do here? Freeze. It will go for condense or cool or cooling also. Use cooling effect. Okay, cooling. Again solid converting into gas. This is sublimation. Solid directly converting into gases, sublimation. Okay, so gas vapor converting into liquids is called what? Condensation. Okay, so we come to know that all the states of matter are interconvertible. They all are interconvertible. We are able to convert one state of matter to the other state and other state of matter to the one state physically, only physical change can take place. Okay, then what changes will take place? Let us see. And what are the conditions of matter? What are the conditions of changing one state to other state? See, solids are very hard in nature, and solids have less interplane force of attraction, less interparticle spaces. So due to that, these solids are incompressible. We cannot compress the solids. This is solid, I cannot compress it because what happens? There is no space between the particles, and this force of attraction is more. So due to that, these solids are highly incompressible. Solids are highly incompressible. Okay, and here only the thing is, if you press it more, only the solid shape may change. They may lose their shape. They may not retain the shape, but their shape may change, but they cannot be completely compressed because their interparticular force of attraction is more. Okay, so due to that reason we cannot. So solids are highly incompressible. Then coming to liquids and gases, you know very well, liquids and gases comparatively, liquids have force of attraction, interparticular force of attraction is there, spaces are there. They are also having a more interparticular force of attraction and more interparticular particle spaces between them. So that's why these liquids also can be compressed easily. Okay. And coming to gases, gases also can be compressed easily. The best example is what? LPG, CNG. What they do for actually LPG? No, LPG is in liquid form. Okay, so that actually it is gaseous form. First it will be gaseous form. What they do? They apply the pressure. They increase the pressure and decrease the temperature. These are the conditions: increase temperature, decrease pressure. Then what happens? These gases are directly converted into liquid. That is called liquefaction. It's called liquefaction. What? Liquefaction means, so CNG, LPG, okay, actually we use this word. CNG is compressed natural gas. This is compress. Compress means apply pressure. When you apply pressure on the gas particles, they come closer, come closer, come closer, come closer. Highly pressure you put on that. So directly they convert from gaseous particle state to liquid state. Okay, means due to high pressure and low temperature, they convert into liquid state. So compress. So LPG is not liquid, it is liquefied. It is called liquefied petroleum gas. Okay, this is compressed natural gas. Compressed natural gas. So these are easily stored. We are able to store them easily, and easily we can carry them. And because these are highly compressible. So gaseous state of particles are highly compressible because they have more interparticular spaces where when you apply pressure on that, they come closer and converted to liquefied petroleum gas. But when they are liquefied, when they are kept in cylinder, they are liquefied form. But when you on the knob, when you open the knob, when it comes to what? Environment, or when it gets exposure, that due to that small space, this liquefied LPG converts into gaseous particle. It comes in the form of a gas that will catch fire. So liquids will not catch fire. So because it is by pressure, it comes exactly with high pressure outside. So due to that pressure, it is in the form of a gas, easily which it will catch fire. Okay, this is about compressed natural gas and natural gas. Okay, then solids, I told already. solids are highly incompressible, but liquids are highly compressible, and comparatively gases are very highly compressible. And when you take all these particles or all these states of matter, do we require same energy to convert one from one state to other state? So we'll try to find it. See here, they all are states of matter only, provided what? They differ in their what? Especially solids differ, each and every solid have their own what? Interparticle force of attraction, interparticle spaces and kinetic energy. So different states of matter, different particles of solids will have different, they behave differently in different time. Okay. But when you take the case of gases, sometimes almost 90% gases are having same what? They are having large interparticle force of attraction. Interparticular force of attraction is very what? Less, easily they are able to move everywhere, and there is less interparticular spaces between them. So due to that, gases are equally, means almost all different types of gases will behave equally. Okay. And here there is one thing about what? These gases, gases, I told, gases can be compressed easily, but provided condition, increase pressure, decrease temperature. So due to that reason, we are able to compress what? Even liquid. We are able to get liquid oxygen, okay, liquid hydrogen, okay. These are able to get, because in hospital we use liquid oxygen. What is that actually? It is compressed only. So this oxygen is for cylinders. They are giving nowadays in hospital you are able to see liquid oxygen is, it is from water. When it comes out, it converts into gas. So this is advantage of converting what? Many of the liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen, liquid nitrogen also obtained in the form of what? Stored liquid, which is compressed and converted into gases. Okay. And here, so I told, different particles of matter will have different particles of energy. So here, when you take the gases, only the thing is gases differ in their kinetic energies. Otherwise, their interparticular force of what? Attraction, repulsion is same only. So due to that reason, different particles or different states of matter have different states of energy, and if you want to transfer one state to other state, what we should do? Different energy should be supplied. They all will require different types of energies. Okay. Then there is one more important concept called law of conservation of mass. Okay, see. Conservation means what? To preserve. Mass means it is a mass of particular substance. Okay. So what does it say? Mass is neither created nor destroyed. Mass is neither created nor destroyed. It remains the same. So whether physical change takes place, chemical change. What is a physical change? What is a physical change here? So physical change means the change which occurs due to application of any force, but only the states of matter will change. Physically, physical nature of the particle substance will change, but chemically they are same. Means here in this case, no new substance is formed. Physical substance change where there is no formation of new substance. No formation of new substance. But in the case of chemical change, what happens? One next example is burning incense stick, agarbatti, okay, incense stick. What happens here? Incense stick, first it is there, that converts into what? Ash. So new substance is formed. New substance is formed. Okay. But according to this law, mass is neither created nor destroyed. I will give one nice example. Okay. You take ice. How many gram? Like 50 gram. 50 gram of ice you take. Okay. And you add this 50 gram of ice to 150 gram of water. Okay. So 50 gram of ice, when you mix with 150 gram of water, it becomes how much? 200 gram or 200 ml of what? Water. Okay. Means before measuring what you did here, you take 50 gram. If this is 50 gram, okay. 50 gram of ice you took. Okay. And you took 50 gram of water. So before that 50 gram plus 150, how many? How much was there? 200 gram. And when you mix these both, when you measure the weight, the same weight is there, 200 milliliter of water. Means it shows mass is neither created nor destroyed in any chemical change or physical change. Okay. So whenever there is reaction taking place, during that reaction also what happens here, the number of reactants will be equal to number of product. I will give one more example for this, you will understand. See, whenever there is a chemical reaction, but you should know what is chemical reaction. Means what? Whenever there is chemical reaction means you have to take two reactants. There should be some reactants. Okay. For example, in general, if you take A plus B, let C plus D. So this is called what? Chemical reaction. When you add A to B, we will get C and D. One example is sodium hydroxide when you add to copper sulfate. Okay. So these both are called what? Reactants. Okay. And here they will react means what? This sodium will react with sulfate because this is positive nature, this is negative nature. So sodium sulfate is formed. Okay. And it forms and copper hydroxide. So these are called what? Reactants. Okay. So this is a precipitate. It forms a solid structure, little hard material structure called solid state. So this its color changes to pale blue or pale blue color. Yes. Okay, what you did here? You took two solutions. One is of sodium hydroxide and one is of copper sulfate solution. Okay. These both solutions, if you mix, they react with each other and they form this side product. These are called products. Okay. So when you measure the weight, when you take the weight of this, the reactant's weight will become equal to weight of the product. Even though chemical reaction take place, I told you chemical change means what? With new substances formation. But as per the law of conservation mass, what does it say? Mass is neither created nor destroyed. Means mass of these both will be equal before reaction and after reaction also the mass of the product will be equal. This is product. Okay. So this way we can prove that number of reactants is equal to number of product. Means as per the law of conservation mass, the mass of the reactants will be as well. Two solutions in a reactant will be equal to two solutions in a product. Okay. So I will give one more example. Burning of wood. Okay. Okay. So when you burn wood, what you get here? First, in one side you take burning of wood. Okay. So when you take wood, actually what happens here? So when you burn wood, you get what? Ash. Okay. You get carbon dioxide. Okay. There may be release of other gases also. Okay. So wood is burned means there is chemical reaction taking place. When you burn actually this is nothing, it is carbon plus oxygen. Carbon dioxide form, wood converts into ash. here, so this wood is a new substance, but it was a wood substance. But one more, this product is formed, product formed is new substance. So chemical change has taken place, means chemical reaction has taken place. So wood has burned with oxygen. When you apply the flame, it has formed the carbon dioxide and other gases. But when you take the weight, when you measure the weight of this wood before burning, suppose before burning the weight is 300 gram, and after burning also its weight will be 300 gram. 300 gram. But there is one what simple technique you should see. If you want these all chemical reactions are suppose, because these all go and mix with air, they vaporize. To avoid that, they are done in closed condition. They are done in closed condition, so that the mass of the substance before the reaction will be equal to substance after the reaction. So there is, means law of conservation of mass is not violated here. It is followed, means number of product, number of what or weight, or number of or weight you can tell. Weight of any substance in the reactants will be equal to weight of any substance in the product side. So in this way, both will be equal as per the law of conservation of mass. That is why we say matter is neither created nor destroyed. Means what? Mass is neither created nor destroyed. Okay. So the remaining things we will discuss later. Thank you.